If you've reached for food when you're stressed or overwhelmed and then immediately judging yourself, this episode is for you. I want you to know this right from the start. Stress eating is not a willpower problem. It's a nervous system response. Your brain is wired to look for danger before safety. In fact, it will go to danger 5 times more than safety. And when life feels heavy, food becomes one of the fastest ways your body tries to protect you. Not because you're broken, but because your internal systems are working exactly as they were designed to. Today, I'm going to talk to you about what stress actually does inside your body, why that I'll start fresh in January or Monday advice completely misses the mark, and the 5 steps that will help you close the mental and emotional loops that drain your energy and keep you stuck in overwhelm. My name is Dara Thomason. This is Love Yourself Thin, episode 238, Emotional Eating When You're Stressed or Overwhelmed. If you've eaten an entire bag of chips while staring at your to-do list, this episode will help you so much. Today, we're going to be talking about stress eating, and I'm going to give you 5-step protocol that actually works. In fact, this morning, I was driving my son to school, and I talked about a thought loop. He's 13. He loves basketball. Basketball shoes you see on YouTube, and the guy does the review. And then you think to yourself, I got to get those shoes. Who else has comments about those shoes? I got to do all the research on the shoes. I got to see how much the shoes cost. I have to figure out how I'm going to get those shoes and talk to my parents about it. And how am I going to get that money? That's like a thought loop that just keeps going and going. If you don't ever get rest from it or a break from it, kind of starts controlling you. When we're focusing on emotional eating, it's because we don't have a skill to feel our feelings, but also we don't know how to close that loop. And so I'm here to help you with that, with these 5 steps. The first thing before we go to the steps, I want you to understand about emotional eating. Our brain is wired to our body, as we are learning all the time. We have a thought, and then our hormones say, okay, what is the appropriate emotional response to that thought? If we have a thought that feels really urgent, those hormones will start to communicate it urgently, and we will have a trigger, which is called cortisol. Now, cortisol is a hormone, and basically it like jumpstarts things. It's like it gives you an acceleration of energy. If something really dangerous is happening, it's going to give you that extra energy that you need in order to respond. I remember the first time I was alone in our new house, and it was super windy, and my husband was gone, and I had 2 kids, and I was pregnant. I had this thought, if someone came and attacked me, would I be able to protect my 2 children in my pregnant body? Like, it was a brand new town. I didn't really know anybody, didn't have people to turn to. It felt really scary. And so I had this cortisol response. I ended up calling my husband saying, I think we need to get a dog so that this dog can help protect me and kids when you're working. Cortisol helps us. It gives us that extra strength. However, cortisol can trigger cravings for quick energy, salty things, sugary things, fatty things, because it says you need a boost of energy. Your brain is trying to help you survive. If it perceives a danger, we have to respond appropriately to that. The problem we have now is that modern stresses like deadlines, family conflict, financial worry don't go away after eating. Back in the day, food was one of our primary foci was to make sure that we all had enough food. Now we don't have the problem. We have a lot of food, especially in North America or those the non-developing worlds. So I want you to think about your brain's negative bias, scanning for danger 5 times more than safety. I always give the example, if there's a rainbow and a grizzly bear outside your door, you are grateful that that brain of yours is always scanning for danger. This kept our ancestors alive, but now it keeps us anxious. And then when we're overwhelmed, your brain floods you with the worst case scenarios. That creates anxiety, and then food becomes the fastest way to interrupt that signal. Now, we think about a car. You don't have to know how to fix a car to drive it. You do need to know, like, there's things you could do that would be helpful. I can charge a battery, or I check windshield washer fluid or the oil, because as you keep driving your car, it needs maintenance. As we live a life and don't understand what's always going on under the hood, we can have patterns of behavior that can increase our anxiety if we don't check them. We have a lot of buildup that needs attention, especially the women I work with. We're in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We've had a whole history of challenges and difficulties. And if we don't know how to address them at the root cause, it's kind of like a storage unit or your garage. If you just keep putting stuff in it and I say, I'll take care of it later. So now we have this accumulation of extra weight because we didn't deal with the issues. I'm going to teach you the 5 ways of closing that loop. The first one is to accept or acknowledge. Say, hey, my internal systems is working exactly how it's designed to. You're not broken. So you have a thought, then the body responds. It's just trying to respond with an appropriate emotional response. Then you ask, what is the actual problem? Instead of saying, I'm stressed, I have 3 deadlines, and I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint people. That's the actual problem. The third step we take is action. Make your plan. What's one thing I can do right now? Not everything, just one thing. And then assess. So go back and evaluate. Did that action plan help you? Did it make things worse? What can I do differently? And then the last thing that we're going to do to close that loop is to acclimatize. So move into your new normal. So a lot of women I work with, they'll be really successful. I just had a lady tell me, she's like, yeah, Dara, I've lost 80 pounds in your program, but I gained 10 because I can't feel that good about myself. We're going to accept it, acknowledge, yes, there's a problem. Then we're going to ask, what is actually the problem, and get very clear on that. Then we're going to take an action, make a plan. We're like, okay, I think this is what we're going to do. We execute it. Then we assess that. So now we can be in our higher brain, right? We don't have to have the fear always going. We can have that higher brain ability, and then we can acclimatize. Look at me. I'm getting so much better at this. I'm understanding my emotions. I'm working with my emotions. I'm de-junking. I'm doing all these things. I want to help you build actual skills to change the way that you act so you can feel more comfortable in your body so you're not having to turn to food. So this month of February, I'm working on how do we understand emotional eating. So next week, we're going to dive into what you do when you feel lonely or disconnected. I've had many of my clients now become widows, and how do they eat by themselves? How do they be in their house by themselves? Empty nesters, all of those things change. If you want to go deeper into emotional eating, I have a mini class that I taught back in December on emotional eating over the holidays. It was a huge hit. So I've revamped it for how do you handle emotional eating 24/7, 12 months of the year. So just a general, it's going to cover so many of these topics. So if you're interested, you need to make sure that you register for that. There's going to be some office hours that you are going to want to take advantage of. So go and check that offer out. All right. I will see you next week when we talk about what do you do when you're lonely or disconnected. If you know what you should do, but you can't figure out why you keep falling short, it's the dilemma, isn't it? You have all the knowledge, you know the steps, but something keeps you from following through. That's exactly what we resolve in Love Yourself Thin, my lifetime membership for quilters and creatives, because you don't have a knowledge problem, you have a thinking problem, and that's what we're here to solve. When you join Love Yourself Thin, you get lifetime access to the tools to help you understand why you do what you do so you can finally create permanent weight loss. No more frustration, no more wondering what's wrong with you, just real transformation from the inside out. You can learn more and join at www.darathomason.com. This is where the real work happens. Can't wait to see you there.